down, yeah. I've been feeling so down, yeah. Can you tell me why? Can you tell me why?
Known as a maritime country and having abundant natural resources, Indonesia has various export commodities for fishery products. One of them is the export of lobster seeds. Indonesia is the main exporting country of lobster seeds, especially to export destination countries such as Vietnam, Hong Kong, Singapore, Thailand, Brunei Darussalam, and Malaysia. The types of lobster that are generally exported are Panurilius homarus, sun lobster, and P. ornatus, bird lobster. Lately, there have been various kinds of polemic regarding lobster seed export policies. Since the enactment of a new ministerial regulation permit, namely Permit KP number 12 or Permit KP or 2020 concerning management of lobster, Panurilius SPP, crab Scylla SPP, and crab Portunus SPP in the territory of the Republic of Indonesia. Many pros and cons that occur regarding this policy. There are those who feel that the policy is right, but many also think that the policy that was now got out by Minister Edi Prabowo can disrupt or lead to the extinction of lobster in the country. The impact is endangering Indonesian food sovereignty. The export of clean lobster seed is said to be prone to lobbying. As seen from the arrest of Edi Prabowo as the Minister of Maritime Affairs and Vinicius, who is a suspect in the bribery case for determining the export of freight cargo service. Reported from Kompas.com, Abdul Halim, as Executive Director of the Center for Maritime Studies for Humanity, in his opinions, since the beginning, the regulation of lobster seed export has general problems. For example, in determining companies that have obtained export permits, the technical guidelines stipulates that new business actor can export right after showing a sustainable harvest. As much as 2% of the harvest must be released back into the wild. However, after a month the export was legalized, many companies have started exporting the fly. In fact, lobster harvest required a long time and investment, around 8 to 12 months. Then the second condition that exporters have is to partner with fishermen and lobster cultivators. Meanwhile, exporters have only partnered after applying for an export license to the KKP, which then caused corrupt practice as revealed by the KPK. Not to mention the question of the very small rate of non-tax statement revenue (PNBP) of lobster seeds, only 250 per 1,000 seeds. This shows the added value caused by the Minister of KP from the export of lobster seed actually doesn't mean much. PNBP is not proportional to the strategic value and welfare resource that should be utilized for the prosperity of domestic lobster cultivation. Stop first and focus on internal recruiting efforts, ensuring that the system is transparent and far from KKM practice. Although we still urge the KKP to no longer focus on efforts to export fly to foreign countries, but rather on efforts to enlarge it domestically. He concluded. The export activity of lobster clean seeds BBL, which was carried out by at least 31 companies with a permit from the Ministry of Marine Affairs and Fisheries, or KKP, is strongly suspected of having violated the provisions of the applicable regulation. The violation was based on the fact that no study was concluded by the National Commission for Assessment, Fishery Resource, or Komnas Kadiskan on BBL. This fact contradicts the regulation of the Minister of Marine Affairs and Fisheries No. 12 of 2020, Article 3, Paragraph 1. Apart from that, the export activities have that been carried out twice are indicated to have violated Article 7, Paragraph 1 of Law No. 45 of 2009 concerning fisheries. As a result of the violation, the state has the potential to bear significant losses. Not only are there indications of legal violation, the export activities of BBL also explain indication of collusive practice by the KKP. This is because export activities involve national politicians, especially from the Gerindra party, the party that raised KP Minister Edi Prabowo. Meanwhile, Secretary General of the People Coalition for Fisheries Justice Kiara Susan Herawati at the end of last week also gave her response about the increasingly difficult BBL export activity to be contained. According to him, granting BBL export permits to exporters is an indication of a collusive practice. This indication emerged because of the issue permits. Some were aimed at companies that were just starting out in lobster farming, and there were politicians involved in them. In the word a license that has been issued can also be called a instant licensing. This lobster seed export activity has both the advantage and disadvantage that it generates. Advantage: the export value of lobster seed has continued to increase since Edi gave export permits. BPS data notes that lobster seed export from June to September 2020 continued to increase. The country received additional foreign exchange. Disadvantage: catching lobster seed for export can trigger exploitation of commodities in the Indonesian Sea. Exploitation activities can make lobster seed extinct in Indonesia. Catching lobster seed for exploration will threaten the life of 14 other fish species. This is because lobster seed are often used as food for 14 other fish species in the sea. If lobster seed and 14 other fish species in the sea become extinct, it will be detrimental to fishermen, must compete with corporations that will export lobster seeds. Apart from all these things, it is hoped that the government will be able to handle the problem regarding the export of lobster seed properly. Take with action and don't benefit only one party, considering that many lives of coastal fishermen depend on this sector. And it is also hoped that the KPK will thoroughly investigate the bribery case involving the KKP Minister Edi Prabowo and reveal who is that mastermind behind this bribery case.